Hear this crap out in the
And apologies, but sometimes you have technical difficulties. It is all gravy. Izac,
Yep.
how's the tooth, first of all, and what is up?
It's been a rough day. I'm just going to put it that way. But I've been excited about this show for 2 days. I was already excited about the Super Bowl stuff, but then when the dumbest trade in NBA history happened, I was like, we're making this show happen.
Oh,
We're doing it.
I mean, there's also a certain NFL game that's getting played that's kind of important as well. So, I mean, we're not going to talk about the Pro Bowl because
oh, heck no.
the Pro Bowl is becoming the NBA All-Star game in my eyes. But, other than that, speaking of the NBA, do you want to start off with that? See if Eric gets in here or
Eric will probably be in a minute, and that's perfect. I can't see comments, so you'll have to throw them up because you already know I wasn't able to log in. My camera was being stupid. Anyways, all right. So starting things off the right way because I'm going to try to log in. I've been able to log in. My camera's being weird, but I'm going to put this on Spotify later this week, probably tomorrow. The tooth gets pulled tomorrow. But I'm Izac, Fun Football Podcast. Had a great show with the wife last week with Jones. While Med steps away for a minute, and I owe him one because we wouldn't have started without him. We're going to have a fun show for you guys. Probably a shorter one. We're going to talk some NBA in probably the first 20 minutes. Not really a lot to talk. It's Nico Harris is an idiot. Nico Harrison. That Kings trade was a big one too. But then we got to preview this Super Bowl because it's the last meaningful game that we get for 7 months. It's all mock drafts from here. So
I was going to say you still have the USFL. Some people they talk about it. I mean, what can you say?
Exactly. But let's start the show the right way. So I'm Izac with Fun Football Pod. This is my co-host, Med, shots from the sideline. And this is Cheesy Bear. Like I said, you've got some NBA coming your way. We'll be starting to do a little bit of that. We've got Super Bowl preview. We've got a Chiefs fan hopping on, Chiefs podcaster hopping on with us shortly. But the tooth gets yanked tomorrow. Thank God. Med, how are you doing?
Oh man, I'm a lot better than you are right now.
God, I was yelling behind the scenes. I was so frustrated. Yeah, it's okay. We're gonna just have a fun show, and we're gonna just.
Secretly, while you're sitting there tossing things around, I was hoping that you would rip down all that Packer garb behind you and just throw it on the ground, but that didn't happen.
They didn't trade for Myles Garrett.
We'll talk about that as well. So,
yeah,
talking about the NBA and everything like that, kind of a trade that kind of rocked the foundation of the NBA. I mean, Luka Doncic to the Lakers from the Mavs, but there are other players that were traded as well. It really looks.
There were players in that trade.
Yeah, the main two, of course, are Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic. But you look at trade and everything. Really and truthfully, it looks like Utah Jazz got kind of hosed in this trade because they got Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks. All that really just said to me is like you just got a bunch of G League players. So
I just love that you brought the Jazz in this trade. I wasn't even gonna go there. I love it.
It's just one of those things where I get they did it probably for salary cap reasons, but when I was reading this, I was like, how in the hell did they get in there? But nope.
Yeah, the Jazz slipped their way in there. They did.
And I mean, it wasn't just Luka they got. They also got Maxi Kelber and they got Markieff Morris, the Lakers did. And Dallas got Anthony Davis and Max Christie now and also a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Which will probably be a high first-round pick. So once again.
This guy said he didn't want the backlash that he was going to get for trading Luka. he, I think he's buddies with Rob Pelinka. And I think Rob Pelinka got in his ear. It'd be like me talking to you for 3 weeks. We're doing a dynasty league. And I'm like, hey, Med. Listen, you got Josh Allen. And I've got Dak Prescott. Let's do a trade. And you're like, no, hell no. And then for the next 3 weeks, I just keep talking to you. I'm like, dude, I got Dak. You're not going to get a better player for Dak. And it's like he talked to him. I heard this, and it was so great on Bill Simmons. It's like he was like, you're not going to get Jason Tatum for him. You're not going to get Giannis. You might as well take Anthony Davis. You want an all-world defensive player. And Pelinka just slid right in there. And I'm a Laker fan.
I mean, this was a coup right here. I mean, you're talking about a top 5 talent getting traded for the Love Boat. This is like you're getting one of the new Norwegian cruisers and you're trading it for the Love Boat. Or, one of the things that they were talking about, Dan Patrick, I was listening to this, and Adam Scheffler was trying to do an NFL comparison with this trade. And originally he said it was like Joe Burrow for Lamar Jackson, and Dan Patrick was like, no. I said, and you look at what they got. I mean, you're looking at a top 5 talent in Luka Doncic. I mean, the dude is, I understand that they've been complaining about his weight and his conditioning and everything like that, but he still gets you.
It doesn't matter.
Points a game. This is one of those players where you kind of just like shut the F up, let him play. Let him get the money and everything. They said that there were some other things that was going on in the background, but you trade it for a guy that is 7 years older than him, has injury issues. In fact, this is like Joel Embiid light in a lot of ways. And, it's just, it doesn't really make sense. And Anthony Davis was a great player 5 years ago. He's not the same guy anymore. I mean,
exactly. You're trading for a massively injury-prone dude. I'm going to try my best not to interrupt because this might be the most shocking trade in NBA history that no one knew about it. And as good as Anthony Davis is, he doesn't hold a candle to Luka Doncic, man. It's not even close. Like 5 years ago, if you're talking Anthony Davis at 26 for Luka, then we might be talking. But it still should have been a bigger haul than this. Only 1 first-round pick.
Well, 5 years
ago. Bridges got 5 first-round picks in that trade. Mikal Bridges got 5 first-rounders. And the best you could do is Davis and a first. And did you see the final of the trade? The Mavs also gave up Maxi Kleber.
Yeah.
And, Mr. First Down, you're funny. And they gave up a couple of seconds. They gave up more stuff. It's like Pelinka was like, I'm not doing the trade unless Kleber's in the trade. I'm not doing the trade unless you give me some second-round picks. I'm not doing it.
Way to really hammer it down.
I mean, how do the Lakers keep doing this, man?
I'll explain it a little bit first down. The Lakers to me is like the NFL equivalent of the Eagles, where it just seems like everything just falls in their lap. I mean, you look at the fact that they got Luka Doncic, but you can compare that to Saquon Barkley. You look at the fact that they got it's unreal. Like the horseshoe that is shoved up the buttocks of Laker.
Put on my Facebook. I'm not going to curse, but you're good. Okay. I didn't put on my
Facebook this time.
Because Eric's coming on, so I knew it was going to happen.
Eric ain't just coming on. Eric is here.
Eric's here.
Man, look at that.
Nice. How are you doing?
Man, you got a new haircut, everything, dude. Look at you.
Why?
This is professional, Eric. This is just got off of work, Eric.
Hey, good for you, man. I've had a day. I needed to vent about, but what's funny is, so we're gonna hit your Chiefs, but we're talking NBA only because this trade was freaking nuts.
And then Eric's like, you know what? This is how professional I am.
He's like, NBA? F this. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm talking football.
I'll come back
Maybe
on in 10 minutes and get some done.
Chiefs jersey on.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Med, is this... Here's the thing. I know Magic's been... I know that the Lakers have landed Kareem in a trade. and they traded for the rights to Kobe, and they did the Pow trade. But all of those, most of those in some version we saw coming.
Mhm.
Is this the most shocking trade in NBA history? Because I kind of think it is.
Okay, so that has been thrown around a lot. I've seen a lot of the media outlets talk about how shocked they are. What was his name? Tim Legler,
Yep.
Nick Wright, of course, the Chiefs, Chris Broussard. So, I mean, I would say, like, when they talked about the Wilt Chamberlain trade, which none of us were alive for that. We don't remember that.
No.
That they found out that Wilt Chamberlain was traded by a newspaper article, okay, that came out 2 days later. So everybody was shocked about that. They did not have ESPN TV. I mean, if if you think about trade sports wise, I mean, what about the Ricky? I would say this is the most shocking trade I've seen in the NBA. Outside of when most shocking move I've seen in the NBA outside of Kevin Durant going to the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So trade wise, yes, but when Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors, nobody saw that coming. Nobody. The game was over. The whole entire league was over for 4 years when Kevin Durant signed. And even in hindsight, we don't know what's going to happen with the Lakers and Luka. So I think it's 100% the most shocking trade. The only trade I can think of off the top of my head in sports since I've been watching was the Saints gave up all their draft picks for Ricky Williams. That trade, that trade was shocking because of how much they did. Like everybody talks about the Herschel Walker trade, but I don't remember that trade. I was a little kid. But like the Ricky Williams with the Saints, that was a shocking trade. I mean, the Gobert, a lot of NBA trades are shocking. Gobert to Minnesota from Utah, it wasn't shocking because of who they got. It was shocking of how much Minnesota gave up for him.
And the Paul George trade, because they landed Kawhi too.
Yeah.
Paul George, they got like 4 first-round picks, but you were really landing Paul George and Kawhi, and everybody thought the Clippers were going to finally win a title.
And it would be a year after he re-signed with them. So, I mean, the NBA is extremely shocking. The only thing what's not shocking to me about this trade, I'm not shocked that Luka got traded. Because at some point in time, we would have seen a trade request. That's the way the NBA works now. I'm shocked for what he got traded for. That is the most shocking thing. De'Aaron Fox just got traded for what? Zach LaVine and a couple draft picks.
And you're not even hearing about it. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
so who was it? Somebody else just got Dame Lillard got traded for 3 draft picks a year ago. And you mean to tell me Luka gets now, granted, Davis is an all NBA player. So you never ever get that caliber back. I mean, if you look at the Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks trade, Julius Randle's a good player, but he's not Karl Anthony Towns.
No.
So you could kind of say that, but only 1 pick? Only 1?
Yeah.
Not even 2? Not even a pick swap? Not even a couple seconds?
Not a damn thing. And what's crazy about this is when I was reading up on the Luka Andre Davis trade, it was like I was sitting there reading it. I was like, I didn't even know that the Utah Jazz were involved. And then when I saw it, like, when were they involved? So I mean, the only thing you've been hearing, of course, is Luka for Davis. And then when the first thing I said is you're basically getting it's like getting a Ferrari and trading it in for, a beat up Pinto at this point.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
But as good as he is, man, he is barely. I know Luka's banged up this year and Davis is playing, and he's a hell of a defender. But the Mavs are offering refunds because they traded they had a franchise player for the first time since Dirk. And I know there wasn't an overlap. They got lucky, and the dude's conditioning sucks, and his defense is annoying. And they're probably, but the GM's excuse that he didn't want to go through a tough summer. That's your job, and he didn't want.
Okay.
Like, come on, man! You can't just trade Luka.
I have a question. I have a question. Let's think about this. Okay, let's take away the name.
Okay.
Let's take away everything we know about Luka. And if I told you player A is a player that is often injured. He's only played more than 60 games or 70 games once in his career. He normally goes around the 60 games. He is not physically fit. I'm not saying that like Joker's not physically fit, but there's a different Joker now than there was 4 years ago. Right. There's a totally different, he's not physically fit. And I don't know if everybody watched the finals last year, but they actively hunted for Luka on defense. Like they actively pick and rolled the mess out of Luka. Don't take the name, but if I told you that and then told you that this player you also have to sign for 5 years, $350 million on the next contract. What are you saying now?
I mean,
you have an offensive star,
and he's 5 years older.
You have an offensive star that is injury prone, that does not play defense, and is not conditioned for the NBA, and actively is a defensive liability playing good teams.
Okay, I could go with that.
And it's $350 million over 5.
Yeah, more than that, if you think about it, because if you're saying 5 and they're going to talk about a max out of $75 million a year, you're talking more towards the range of $400 million.
Yeah.
And
so,
I mean, when you put it like that, I get your point, because I mean, when you sit there and you think about Luka Doncic, you think about what is the most dominant below the rim player in the league right now, and Luka is that guy.
That's a good way to put it.
Now, the only thing I think about is the fact that you look at that. Now, all that was great points. I will say that. Like, the way you put it makes me think, okay, I understand.
Let me make something really clear. I would have not done this fucking trade. Okay, I would not have done this trade. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I would not have done this trade.
Absolutely not.
I 100% believe this trade is bullshit, but I was just playing devil's advocate. I would have never done this trade.
Oh, no, you did a damn good job playing devil's advocate on this one, because when you said that, it made a lot of sense. The way I look at it, and if you want to do like an NFL comparison, because let's be real, Anthony Davis is not the same guy as he was 5 years ago.
No.
It's kind of like when Las Vegas, the Raiders, you could even take this to your boy, your co-host, got rid of Derek Carr to replace him with Jimmy Garoppolo a couple of years ago. And you're basically switching out the pieces. The way that I look at Anthony Davis right now is he's kind of like Joel Embiid light. And the fact that he is also very injury prone. He can get you 25 points. He'll get you that double-double when he's on the court. But that's when he's on the court. He's been, I mean, at one point, I was wondering if he was going to die. You know, from
they call him suits. They call him street clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the trade is dumb. But I am not mad at the GM. It is kind of weird. I am not mad at the GM because
I'm going to read you the numbers in a second.
The reason, trust me, Luka is an all NBA. Luka will probably be a top 10 to 20, between 10 and 15 player all time if he can win championships. If he doesn't win championships, he'll hover in the top. He'll be the next Carmelo Anthony if he does not win championships. So Carmelo Anthony was a damn good scorer. He was awesome one of the best scorers, but defensively he did not want to play defense.
Well, he was a black hole with the ball. As soon as it went into him, it wasn't coming back out.
100%. But no, he's this. You don't trade a top 20, a top 5, top 10 NBA player at 25 years old unless there's other stuff going on that you don't like.
This is a fireable offense. I'm going to read you guys some numbers. Okay. Here's the number of games Anthony Davis has played since becoming a Laker. 62, they won the title. 36 games, 40, 56.
Hold on, rewind. 62 doesn't count. 62 doesn't count the year they won the title. There was only like 60 games. He actually played the full season that year because they had a 3-month break.
Yeah.
So 36, 40, 56, 76 in a good season, 42 this season. He's missed a dozen games. You don't make this trade without shopping him. Nico Harrison should already be fired. This is indefensible to not shop Luka and get the best haul. If you're going to trade him, you traded him for 25 cents on the dollar, and he's going to get fired for it unless the Mavs shop.
I don't agree with that. I do agree that they could have gotten way more draft picks. I do. Hold on. I do agree with that. But most of your lottery picks become bust. We can go through the last draft. You're going to get a late pick if it's the Lakers because they're going to build around Luka. And they just become trade assets. So, like, if you look at Damian Lillard got traded from Portland, that was one of the most recent star trades. They had to throw in the picks because they didn't get anything of value back from him.
But how did you get one first in this? This would have been
you got an all-NBA defensive player. I know he's injury prone.
I love Anthony Davis, man. I do. He's one of my favorite players. And I was trying to talk myself into this because he's a hell of a... Like, whenever I'm playing 2K, I'm going to put this out there. I put Anthony Davis on my team, and I don't put Luka on it. Because he doesn't play defense.
Okay, but if you look at the trades,
it's a
when Paul George was traded from the Thunder,
that's why.
When he was traded from the Thunder, they got SGA or whatever, but nobody knew what he would become. We know now in hindsight.
Was it 4 first or 5? Or
yes,
6?
but what have they turned them into? Chet. Now Chet might be amazing, but
that's pretty good.
But we don't know. They turned it into Chet, and they had 19 first-round draft picks.
I know.
And they turned it into Chet.
The Thunder.
Okay. Yes, the Nets and the Celtics. The Celtics turned it into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but there's only so many times that happens. The Nets, the Rockets got Jalen Green, and that was it.
The other part of that bothers me, though, is that you're giving up a dude who's about to turn 26 for a 32-year-old guy. Like,
true.
That's the part that bugs me. And as much as I like Davis, the Mavs, I feel like they could have flipped Kyrie and other assets for Davis.
You're not getting Kyrie. No, you're not getting Kyrie's not getting Kyrie's not getting traded. Nobody is picking that dude up. No, Dallas is the only place. Nobody even wanted him in free agency.
No, wait, did I say it wrong? You
said Kyrie. You could flip Kyrie for pieces for Davis.
Yeah, I mean, Pelinka probably ain't going to get fleeced like that. Like, he's the one who does. The Lakers are the ones who, they get the good player in the trade. They rarely make a trade for a bad player, except for Westbrook, but that was worth a swing because you didn't know what Westbrook had left. So, and they needed a ball handler. So it wasn't a bad idea at the time. It just...
Playing devil's advocate, if I'm the GM of the thing, now, I'm just going to say I'm not from the NBA circle. He came from Nike. We already know this. Mm-hmm. So him and Rob Pelinka had a relationship because of Kobe Bryant and Nike, okay? So if we want to talk about some scandalous conspiracy hat going on, okay, I'm down to go down that road. But outside of that, let's look at the way stars have treated organizations, which we are all fine with. Nobody cares when a star wants to get traded. Look what we're going through with Jimmy Butler. De'Aaron Fox just got traded because he basically said, I'm not re-signing with you guys after they fired Mike Brown. Yeah. So, I mean, and they probably fired. So just because you sign a contract does not necessarily mean that player is going to stay there. Jimmy Butler did it. Anthony Davis did it. Dame Lillard did it. We know all of these people. Bradley Beal basically did. All these people do it. So do you want to get ahead of the circus or do the way it's trending? And unless Luka does something to get in a conditionable shape, we've seen this. Heavy set guys that start getting ligament injuries they have issues. Zion. We're watching this play out with Zion right now. So unless he decides to get into shape, which when you get $350 million, what motivation do you have? Do you want to deal with the possibility of this circus in 2 to 3 years where you're pigeon-toed to the team you want and you may not get as much stuff as you want, or Luka gets injured and you're stuck on that salary?
Okay, so I got to add one more thing to this, and then I know we got to talk Super Bowl. This is more NBA than I expected, but
No, I'm fine with this. We also got to talk a little bit about the Fox.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to ask
that don't get no play in the actual media. So.
And it's a big move. But check this out. I read this on Nico Harrison. I've had a couple of days to like listen and grab some stuff. So check this out. I read this is on Wikipedia.
And we do have a question too that we gotta get to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I can't. I'm on. Yeah, I
don't have to explain it to anyone. I already got you, Bo.
Yeah, thank you, bud. I appreciate you. Seriously, I'm already in a better mood because all I just need to do is talk some sports. All right, so Nico Harrison. Over his 19 years at Nike, he became known for his trustworthiness and ability to develop some personal connections. But this little bit right here told me all I needed to know. During his work at Nike in 2013, he botched a presentation to Steph Curry, where according to Harrison, he called him Steph, and the presentation was made for Kevin Durant. So Steph Curry, not Steph, the one we all know.
In what year? In what year?
2013.
Okay, let's rewind that. Let's just touch bases on that. Who the fuck was Steph Curry in 2013? We look at it as bad now, but the Warriors
something with this guy because
the Warriors
even before this he did.
The Warriors even signed him to a piece of shit contract because of his ankle injuries. He was on a $48 million 4-year contract. So yes, Steph blew up in 2015 and 2014, and that could be why he blew up because he got the motivation. But you can't go back to 2013 before Steph became great and goes, yeah, he botched it with Steph. Nobody knew Steph was going to be who Steph is.
Well, what blows my mind about this trade too, dude, is that this guy made shrewd moves before this, and then made the most mind-boggling move ever. The Kyrie trade, he got him for next to nothing. Yeah. Then he
PJ Washington.
There's a reason.
Well, so I have a question.
Yes,
I have a question.
The PJ Washington trade last year was great too.
So Daniel Gafford. So we've mentioned 3 moves from a newcomer in a year and a half or whatever that he's done. And they all have worked out. But yet this is a fireable offense.
Yes, it is.
That just doesn't that doesn't
let's watch it play out because
don't get me wrong. In 5 to 6 years when the Lakers run off 2 to 3 championships,
and LeBron
we're gonna look back and go, look at what happened. Look what they could have had. But would that have been the same Luka?
You know what? That's a good point too. Luka,
because this is a kick in the ass.
This is gonna F you, Luka.
Exactly. Now, what I also heard was when Mark Cuban was the de facto owner, Luka ran the organization.
That's what I heard too, and I've heard it.
And it completely shifted. Yeah. And we're gonna hear out a lot more about this. And in about 6 to 7 months or a year when it comes out, he's not gonna look as bad. I'm not saying he shouldn't have gotten more, but you're going to kind of see the stuff. We can see the way Luka throws a tantrum on the court when he doesn't get his call. Can you imagine this dude behind closed doors?
No.
That's just, so I don't want to spread false rumors, but I mean, I don't know of any NBA basketball player that's a top 5, top 10, top 12, does all this stuff, makes all this money that doesn't bitch and it isn't a diva.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my question before we kick it to the Fox trade, because I want to talk Super Bowl. Does this make the Lakers contenders now, or do they got to make another move?
They got to make another move. They need a center. They need a big man because they threw away their center, who, again, the Lakers get an A+. First of all, we can just stop talking about Nico getting fired, and we need to give Rob Pelinka the greatest amount of credit for answering the phone and understanding what was happening. Because we gave him shit when he got Russell Westbrook, okay? Everybody talked mess about that trade. We're still talking mess about that trade to this day. Worst trade ever. How do you break up a championship team for Russell Westbrook? So we got to give this man credit that he had the ability, he knew what he was doing, and he kept hold of his picks. He stayed firm and only gave up 1 pick. But the Lakers need to make more moves. They're going to get rid of Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is gone.
Well, it depends on what they get. I think that's going to have to be the asset because they already gave up Russ. But can you imagine being Rob Pelinka and Harrison finally calls you up? He's like, all right. He's like, wait. Are we trading Are you trading me Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
Toss some second round picks in there and give me Max Kleber too.
Dude, I just don't even know how that conversation would work. But no. So Austin Reeves and Richie and Harold Moore or whatever, the dude from Washington, Rucci, those are their really only two trade pieces. But Austin Rivers is redundant. You don't want to get rid of Rui because Rui plays defense and he's a long body wing. So he's a small forward, power forward. So he plays defense. Having Austin and Luka is redundant. They play a very similar position. That's why LeBron has been off the ball because Austin has been more on the ball. And Austin's not that great of a defender. So
I agree. I would flip. What I would do if I were them is I'd just get a center who can defend. If he stretches the floor, great, but I'm not as worried about that. I would just get 2, 3, and D guys to start next to Luka, LeBron, and if they can get a big or start Rui, but they really could use a big. But if they run with Rui, LeBron, Luka, and they get 2 good 3 and D guys, that's gonna be. That's probably getting you to the Western Conference Finals minimum, I think, if Luka's motivated.
If I was their starting lineup, I would put Luka, Dalton, their rookie at shooting guard, that dude that can shoot out of the gym, Rui at 3, LeBron at 4, and of course right now they have Jackson Hayes. But I'm calling Clint Capella. I'm calling the Hawks about Clint Capella. I'm making a couple phone calls and hey, what do you want? How do I get the? I may even call the Kings about DeMontis Sabonis right now. I'm not even playing. I'm not even joking. Do you know how crazy that would be if they traded Austin Rivers, Rui, and like 3 picks for DeMontis Sabonis? That would be ridiculous. Yeah. So I would call them. I would probably call the Clippers about Zubac because he's a cheap center that's defensive. I'm trying to think off the top. I call the Knicks about Mitchell Robinson.
That's a good one. Call some dumb call some teams with dumb GMs and see if you can fleece them for another player. That's exactly what the Lakers need to do. Take advantage of these
calling Utah. I'm not calling Utah and I'm not calling Thunder. I'm not calling those 2 teams. Utah has been.
All right, man.
I'm going to go ahead and start segueing us off of this subject so we can talk about other things as well. But there's one question. Who's the alpha when it's Kyrie and AD are both proven, but they're better than someone else is the guy?
Kind of a 1A1B situation, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, that's...
No, Kyrie.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
Kyrie controls the ball.
I'm hoping Kyrie gets Davis involved offensively, though, because Davis he doesn't really shoot much outside anymore, but he can bully down low. So that could be at least a semi-entertaining team to watch with Clay. I just think they have a ceiling that isn't very high, personally. I just don't think the ceiling's very high.
I agree.
That's
but pick and roll.
First round team. That might be a little frisky. That's their ceiling.
Pick and roll, 100%. Giannis is not going to Dallas after this.
No. Heck no.
Giannis is not going to Dallas after this.
There was a rumor last year that the Lakers wanted Luka, and now look at that. It happened. But that's right. We got to move on from it. So the other NBA trade, Ned, you want to do it?
I mean, we're talking about Fox going to San Antonio, which is kind of crazy. Another 3-way trade where I actually like this pairing of him with Embiid. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting pairing. Fox, of course, like, Eric kind of mentioned earlier, kind of sick about what's going on with Sacramento and the fact that it always seems to be a little stagnant up there. How talented their team is. But no, once I read up on this a little bit, like I said, the press that's been going on with the other trade has just been so fever pitch. You don't really think about it. I do like the fact that they got Zach LaVine. It didn't feel nearly as one-sided, but if you look at the 3-team trade, Chicago kind of got gypped a little bit. It was kind of like the Utah Jazz. There's always going to be a team getting railed. But I mean, what do y'all feel about this trade? Who won out between these 3 teams?
San Antonio.
Yeah, they got a guy to play with Wemby. You got the point guard to play with Wemby. That pairs well with him.
It's not a question. Yeah.
And Wemby can this could be like Randy Moss. Wemby could throw it deep to Fox. Think of like a quarterback throwing it to Randy Moss deep. Fox has got so much speed. Wemby, if he just slings it down, he just throws the ball quick on an outlet pass. Fox might beat the defense down the court like a third of the time, if not more, if he's running, because he's one of the fastest players in the NBA.
Yeah, he 100%. Yep. I think it's the San Antonio. They signed Chris Paul this year, and this is what they're trying to establish. They were trying to get somebody to do the pick and roll, run the, and to have Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox on the same team. The intelligence, the IQ, even though Chris Paul is not in the same league that he once was, they basically just set themselves up for the next 4 to 5 years to have the running mate with Wemby. And I think that is absolutely fabulous. I think the overall loser is DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan left Chicago to get the fuck away from Zach LaVine. And then they traded him to them. Yes. He left Chicago to get away from him. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. That's why he left. You don't go from Chicago to Sacramento because you want to go to your hometown and you grew up in LA. You don't do that. No. That was pretty funny that happened that way too, because it's like, come on, man. Plus, I've heard like LaVine actually, like, I haven't caught a ton of NBA this season yet. I'm about to dive in because of the NFL, but I've heard LaVine's actually been decent, but it's still Zach LaVine, man. Like, this sucks for Sacramento. They can't get out of this purgatory of being at best a playing team. No. They had that one good season and they just can't get out of it. They haven't been relevant since Chris Webber.
Yeah, I was going to say Chris Webber Valley Divac days.
20 plus years, maybe. Like,
it doesn't suck. We all listen. I'm going to sound brutally horrible. The NBA, the MLB, and the NFL are better when teams suck, that we know they suck. So, for instance, the NFL is better now that the Browns suck. So, I mean, the Browns had their little good moment, but now that the Browns are absolutely dog garbage again, we all enjoy the NFL more. The Lions, they're on their run, but when they go back, all will be right. The same thing happens in the NBA. The Kings or the Kings and the Clippers, okay? Those two teams, we're all loving what's going on with the Clippers right now because they should be horrible for as long as they could be. Same thing that happens with the Nets. You can't have two good teams in the same city. So, no, the Sacramento Kings are those lovable losers. They get their couple good years, and then they claim that they got cheated, and then they just run their system. They run their organization horribly, just like the Browns. Like, they just run it. How many coaches has De'Aaron Fox had in his 6 years, 7 years?
Oh, God, at least 5.
And you fire Mike Brown?
No.
Like, what? What is Vlade Divac doing making any decisions for your organization? So no, I don't feel bad for the Kings. They're lovable losers. We need people that suck that we can laugh at, and at least for other teams, like I'm a Sixers fan. My team is doing horrible. They're doing horrible. But okay, I know, but see, you can look and say at least we're not the Browns. Even Bears fans look and go, at least we're not the Browns.
Trust me. My father-in-law, he's a Browns fan, and the first thing I said to him, he was like, I heard you're a Bears fan. I was like, yeah, we're having a rough couple decades, but at least I'm not a Browns fan.
Exactly.
Like, what's your team? And he was like, oh, it's the Browns. I was like, ooh.
Exactly. So my Sixers suck, but at least I'm not the Kings. Okay? That makes me feel better.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, I was a Seattle Supersonics fan. I don't even have a team anymore.
Yeah, see? So no, I don't feel bad for the Kings. They made their bed. They what do you do to keep running off these stars? And the one star that you had forever that wanted to be there, you decided to trade him during All-Star break. DeMarcus Cousins. What are we feeling bad for the Kings for? Come on.
They're so poorly run.
Yes.
There's some NFL, like you nailed it, man. There's some NFL teams like that. I do like a little bit of variety. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that the Eagles, if any team was going to challenge the Chiefs this year, I think the Eagles were the best team to do so. The Lions, I think, have a Jared Goff problem.
Yeah.
The Eagles, I mean, kind of have a Jalen Hurts problem, but I mean, the rest of that squad is pretty stellar. So we're 40 minutes in. Are you guys good if we pivot to this epic Super Bowl?
We are.
Okay. You got the 17-2 Kansas City Chiefs facing I believe it's 17-3 Eagles. You got the best teams in the NFL. You've got Saquon Barkley and the number 2 rushing attack in the NFL facing Patrick Mahomes. They're not going to start Tanner McKee. You've got the best defense in football. Eric might hate me for this. I feel like the Eagles win at almost every level on the squad. They have a better running back. They probably have a better O-line. I think they definitely do. They probably have better receivers. They have a better overall defense, but the Chiefs have the wins where it matters at quarterback and coaching with Reed and Spagnuolo. That's where they win. Eric, is it going to be enough to three-peat, or are the Eagles going to stop it?
Okay, so let me get this out the way. First of all, you forgot who else we have. We have the refs on our side, okay? So let's just get that out the way. Since everybody wants to talk about the script and the refs helping the Chiefs on every play, let's just go ahead and throw that out there. Refs, I need you guys to continue because we're looking at history. Keep the same energy. Don't change up now. If you're going to call it for the Chiefs the whole season, make sure you keep it for the Chiefs the whole season, okay? I'm down with that. Saquon Barkley gives me absolute nightmares.
Yeah.
We do have the number 1 rushing defense against the running back, but not against the quarterback. Saquon Barkley gives me nightmares. He gives me nightmares for a couple reasons. One, because he looks like he's having fun doing it. Okay. And when you're a running back and you look like you're having fun, you know you're crazy. Okay. Because people are trying to take your head off. 2, he does things on the field that we have never seen before that we don't even see happen in video games. Like, how do you jump over somebody going backwards? I don't know if y'all saw the play against the Commanders this weekend where the guy tried to tackle him and he just spun around like a tippy-turvy top and it just kept running. Didn't lose any speed. I don't know how you do this. And then he talks mess on the field while doing it. Watch this. And then takes off for 60 runs down the field. So he has absolutely gave me nightmares.
It's like Larry Bird was like, I'm going to call my shot right here. Boom, I'm going to hit it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the receiving core, if you look at A.J. Brown and you look at Devontae Smith, their receiving core, it's not, don't get me wrong. What I'm about to say is going to people are going to say, oh, he's just a homer. It doesn't scare me.
Well, because they don't use it.
Well, also because they don't have a quarterback that knows how to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts unlocks their rushing game. I've got some advanced stats on that. He makes their rushing game lethal. So there's that. But if Jalen Hurts doesn't lock back into what made Jalen Hurts special when he was an actual dual threat, now he's kind of just a rushing threat, to be honest. Yeah. He really is. They are 29th in passing. They're going to need a little more from that to win this game. Yeah.
Well, so I agree.
There's been a lot of Super Bowl champs that have leaned on a defense and an all-time running back to win a Super Bowl. This is like, if they weren't playing the Chiefs, I think everybody would pick the Eagles.
And when you look at what he did, like as far as Jalen Hurts goes in the NFC Championship game, it wasn't like he was doing it up against a world beater defense either. I mean, they were ranked like lower mid-tier. I mean, they weren't that great. Their run defense was 30th in the nation, and now they're going up against the number 1 defense who has a big horse, Chris Jones, in the middle, and Kalaflis, which is someone that I've really become a fan of lately. But other than that, I mean, I love the defense on it's more, it ain't like all over the place. Like the more dominant defensive line is with Kansas City. I'm being honest.
Is Jones? Yeah, no, I think that's the one area they win, even though the Eagles have Jalen Carter and that's special. They're not great at rushing the passer, so that's probably the one area on the field where the Chiefs have a victory, but it's only if Chris Jones plays.
No. Let's rewind this back. I'm sorry. The receiving core, Eagles receiving core is not better than the Chiefs. Even without having a duel, even without having Jalen Hurts.
I can't get with you there.
And don't get me, I'm not saying they're not good, But we literally have 4 to 5 receivers that can do whatever they want whenever they want to do it. They have 2.
Name them off.
Go ahead. I gotta do this, man.
You just go
they
ahead.
have. Okay, first of all, we have Travis Kelce.
You shocked me.
Travis Kelce is basically a receiver. Okay, we already know that. So Travis Kelce, we have the fastest man on the planet in Xavier Worthy that is coming into his own. We have Hollywood Brown that people keep forgetting about.
Damn fast too.
We have DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster. What are you talking about? How is that not?
Well, you were nailing it until you said Juju.
Are they all? But hold on. Juju with the Chiefs comes up with big plays when they need big plays. Juju. So who are you going to guard? You're going to guard Kelce. No big deal. You're going to guard Xavier. But we literally have 2 all-pro receivers at one point in time that are past their prime, but can still do what they need to do. And they're great route runners. And we have Hollywood Brown.
And you might be getting Rice back for this.
So again, if we have Brown and Smith. I'm sorry, Goddard's not bad. Yeah, I'm not sorry, but you give me any quarterback, I'm taking the Chiefs receiving core over the Eagles. Yes, if you put their top receiver probably beats ours, but as a receiving core, hell no. I haven't even mentioned Watson, the only white receiver that anybody cares about outside of Cooper Kupp. So I haven't even mentioned him. Okay, he wears a unique number. I haven't even. So we have. That's the thing. The only problem is we don't have the standout statistics because Patty is spreading the ball around. Pick and choose who you want. Okay, we'll give Travis Kelce 100 yards this game. Next game we'll give Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. So that's receiving core, 100%. Their running back is better than ours. Their O-line is better than ours. Our O-line is garbage at certain places. I can't believe who we're putting at left tackle. Their defensive backs are very good. I wouldn't say that's a win. I would kind of say that's a draw. Yeah, push. Because we have really, really good ones. They're just young.
I would give the edge to the Eagles, Patty. They're first in the NFL. You guys have McDuffie, and then it's a drop-off. They have Kenyon Mitchell, and then they got Cooper DeJean. I agree with you with the spreading the ball around.
Wait, they have who? Cooper DeJean?
Yeah. He's been stud.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. They have good good receivers. They have good defensive backs. I just think with Spagnuolo as our scheme, I was going to say nobody throws the Trent McDuffie side really. He gave up 1 touchdown I think the whole year. Nobody throws to that dude. Nobody throws to that guy. Well, so I'm not saying we're better. I'm 100% saying they could be slightly better, but I would call that a push. And so outside of that, I would say our receiving core, our defensive line, and our quarterback is the win.
This is something I actually think about because, we always talk about what Saquon Barkley did this year. But one thing we don't really talk about is how often he's been also hurt. And when you look at top of the bottom, you look at what the running back situation is with Philly, he's it. And then you got Gainwell, but it's Barkley. You look at the Chiefs side, you got Kareem Hunt, who's been looking like Kareem Hunt did when he was a rookie. You got Pachenko, who is finally healthy, and he's not running like he was, but he's still there. And you got the running back with the porn star name with Carson Steele.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's from top to bottom, I actually like. I mean, you look at what Saquon did. I mean, that dude's Superman.
Yeah, but if he's on the field, there's no comparison.
Oh no, there's no comparison. I'm not saying good. He trumps all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Collectively, they're like the Avengers to
Thanos. He's Thanos, right?
With the gauntlet. You're like, I like how Isaac is. Did we melt your brain, Isaac?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm going to add in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm scared. I'm 100% scared. I will probably have trouble sleeping. I will tell you this: I was more scared for the Bills than I am for the Eagles right now because of the fact that, at some point in time, Josh Allen's going to get over that hump. He's going to get over the hump of Patrick Mahomes. And when he broke off that 17-yard run, my heart was dropping because I was like, this is the time he gets over the hump. Yeah, so it was all up there. But if being a homer, of course I'm going to go with the Chiefs. But if my thing is, I don't trust Jalen Hurts when the game comes on the line.
That's my debate.
If we're in the fourth quarter and it is a close game, which just to let you know, everybody know it's going to be a close game because every game with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl is a close game. And every game we've had this year is a close game. So at some point in time, it's going to be a close game. If there's 4 minutes left, what is him and Nick Sirianni going to do?
And that's what I was going to actually say is the biggest advantage you have is not even on the field.
No, it's the coach.
Yep. That's it right there. Matt nailed it.
I mean, you're going to sit there and, if, like you just said, it's going to be a close game, I think it's going to be a close game. I think, if it's a blowout, then the Eagles, they win on one.
Oh, yeah, they're running away. We can't stop.
That's the only way I could see it. But if it's going to be a one-score game, you're going to give me Reed and you're going to give me Holmes any day of the week.
This Eagles team, if they can get a solid game out of Hurts, they've got a really good chance to win. It's just going to come down to that because statistically they're better on D and they were better a lot of the season, even in this Chiefs D. That's really good. And I watched a lot of Chiefs and Eagles games this year. The Chiefs won with solid time. They won with situational defense, situational game planning, excellent coaching, and Mahomes. That's how they won. They didn't win through any. I don't completely disagree, Eric. I don't love their receiving core, but they do have guys that can do different things. I don't know how it's going to stack up against this Eagles secondary. I think where the Chiefs are going to win on offense is with Mahomes' legs. If I were the Eagles, I'd have a spy. I'd be running spy blitzes. Mahomes would not beat me with his legs. I would stick a freaking safety, a corner that's faster than Mahomes on him if I needed to, if a linebacker couldn't keep up with him. But you do not let Mahomes run. You have to have good pass rush. Like, you have to have lanes. You can't let him, run right up the middle. You can't let him get outside the pocket. Mahomes is going to try to use his legs to beat you.
Can't let him slide.
You can't let him exaggerate the pocket. You can't.
Don't let the two
Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
Get away.
Get away.
Stay back there.
That Texans flag where the two defenders smacked heads, I was so pissed. I was like, bro.
I wasn't. I was happy.
I know
I
you
was
were.
too because, he helped me get money. So,
right. Isaac, I have a question real quick.
Yeah. What you got?
What Super Bowl out of the last three was the team not better than the Chiefs?
That's exactly what I think of this one, too.
The Eagles in the first Super Bowl, we were without Tyreek Hill. We didn't even have anybody. We had Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. Where the fuck are they now?
The 49ers Super Bowl last year. The 49ers
last year, Mecole Hardman, who played for the Jets, caught the winning touchdown pass for us. We lost to the Raiders on Christmas, and I thought we were done. So in the last three, this is like a repeat rinse, do again. They're not as good. Even in the first Super Bowl when we beat the Niners, we weren't as good. Yes, we had Tyreek Hill in them, but that defense, that running game. So my biggest thing that I think that will lead to the success is, one, I think that we already have outcoached, like he said, with all of the coaching and everything. I think we're already outthinking. Nick Sirianni has already lost this game. He's already lost this game. And then the second thing that made me realize something that I don't think people understand, and again, the preparation. The fact of the Super Bowl last year, the Niners had no clue what was going to happen. Yeah. But the Chiefs had prepared. That's almost like the stupid play from Malcolm Butler making that interception against Russell Wilson. And the very last thing is, the refs in the NFL want us to win a three-peat. They want to get rid of Brady as quick as possible and get a thing for Brady, and they want us to win. So I think the NFL is going to cheat for us.
Which is really unfortunate because I think that's true. And That's a good point with the better than. The one thing that scares me for the Eagles, other than the coaching, the preparation, because the 49ers could have won last year if Shanahan was just a solid coach. I'm sorry. I'm going to sound like a jerk for this, but Shanahan, Med says it perfectly, is the Dan Marino of Super Bowls. That they were a better squad. They were up by 7. They could have put the Chiefs away and then some, and they weren't able to do it. So, exactly, all they got to do is make a deal with the Chiefs.
That deal's already been made.
That deal's been made.
Check has already been cashed.
The Bucks beat them in the Super Bowl, not only because they had Brady, that was huge, but this Chiefs O-line, you said it, isn't very good. They can't run the ball. They're not that great at pass protecting. Mahomes makes it work because he's like Michael Jordan.
Yep.
What you've got to do is you got to make him run for his life. The Bucks, when they won that Super Bowl, Mahomes was running for his life. The Eagles could do this correctly, even though they don't have a dominant pass rush. They have the players on D. If they blitz and scheme this right, I just don't trust them to do it. But if they get Mahomes running for his life behind that bad left tackle, the right tackle ain't that great either, they could easily make life uncomfortable for Mahomes. That's what they need to do.
There's only 2 quarterbacks to beat Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, no.
The Tampa Bay Super Bowl was 5 Super Bowls ago. If that was the way to beat Mahomes, somebody would have figured it out by now. There's literally only 2, Joe Burrow and Tom Brady.
I'd be building up a dominant D line. You got to have
the offense to compete with that. We forget the Bucks had 2,000-yard receivers in Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and they had Gronk. So I mean, I didn't even mention Brady. So yes, 100%, but you also have to be able to have the offense and the wherewithal to do that. I don't think when you play Mahomes, I know that the media says it's not you versus it fucking is you versus Mahomes. You have to make sure that when you leave the field, you are 10 times better than him. Yes, Michael Jordan did have the ref kissing his ass. Stop it. Please stop it. Stop it. How old are you? 12? Stop it. You have not seen. The only thing we're going to talk about is the bad boy Pistons. Even Magic Johnson joked around and said, "Oh, we touched him, foul." Stop it right now. Once Michael won his thing, you couldn't breathe on that man without a foul. Or he could literally cross somebody over and push them across the whole entire court on a game-winning shot and not get called a foul on. Stop it.
Or he would just pull some ridiculous stuff at age 35 going in the last game. If you watched I know you guys watched Last Dance.
Yes.
That flipper on oyster tag under the rim when he goes under the basket, flips it up, and it goes boom in. Yep. And it was like, but he made that crap happen.
Or
the refs were just like an added bonus for him. It's just the same with Mahomes.
Or when he got in a fight with Reggie Miller. Go look up the time Reggie Miller and him got in a fight. Reggie Miller got ejected. He got ejected. Michael didn't. And Michael started. Stop. Y'all have revisionist history.
Stuff was fun.
Every great player gets the refs' attention because they're great. Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, unless you're in the 80s with the NBA when they could literally fight and clothesline like hockey. But in hockey doesn't count. But every great player gets calls from the refs. It happens.
This has been fun. I've had a long week with the tooth. This has been a blast, guys.
So just real quick, Damien, this is Eric, Damien.
Hi, Damien.
Damien, you're going to come on. I think Damien's on. He's on another show, I think. Damien, what show are you on? Or are you a different Damien? I feel like Damien, drop in the comments. I think he's on a show that we know. My brain's eluding me at the moment. But Damien's a frequent watcher, and he's hilarious. I love it. But,
that is awesome.
But it is fair to compare Mahomes because he's already done something that no NFL quarterback's done. He's won 2, and he's made it to a 3rd Super Bowl. If he three-peats, now we are in MJ air because
he's won 3. He's won 3.
Only the Packers.
I was going to say, Isaac's a math teacher.
What?
He won 3. Isaac, he's won 3.
He won 3.
No. I'm saying he's about to three-peat, though. He hadn't three-peated.
Okay. So,
Mahomes won 3. I'm saying he hadn't three-peated yet. If he three-peats, we're going to get to see this like MJ did.
There you go.
So, side note, do you guys know that Pat Riley owns the trademark for three-peat?
Actually, yes. I've read about that. That is crazy.
He three-peated he owned the trademark after the 88-89 season when they went for their three-peat. So every time somebody uses three-peat, he gets paid for it.
It's funny.
He didn't even three-peat. That's
no,
ridiculous.
but he did it beforehand.
You keep talking like that, Isaac. You're going to owe Pat Riley some money now.
From just a shot on comparing Mahomes. I'm going to be honest. You can't compare Mahomes. This is not something Homer. You really can't compare Mahomes to anybody. So, like, you can compare him to Brady. But even when Jordan won his first title, he was 9 years in the league. Or 8 years, 7 years in the league. Yeah, 7 years in the league. Yeah. So he won in 91.
Oh, yeah.
So Mahomes literally won. He went to the AFC Championship his first starting year and won his second.
That's not totally fair, though. MJ had, like, me next to him playing. Craig Hodges was his best player for a hot minute.
George Gervin played with him.
Okay, that's true. He had one solid player, but it wasn't...
Again, no. So, look, I'm not downgrading MJ. I'm not saying MJ was God and reincarnated as a basketball player. I am not downgrading him at all. But that is how much different Mahomes is, because you've never seen this in any sport. And if he keeps it up, I mean, he's never been below the conference championship.
Well, that's why I think Andy Reid needs to get in conversation, not to take away from Mahomes, but that's why we asked this question, and I've only got about 15, 20 more minutes. It sucks because I'm having fun. If they win, we should just do this again next week.
I'm down.
Love it, man. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm game. If they win, if the Chiefs win, because I know if they lose, he ain't gonna want to come on.
You're not gonna see me for a while. Okay, I'm not coming anywhere.
You're gonna be like 2 months
with how much mess I've talked, I'm not going anywhere near a computer for a week.
So Eric, there is one thing I want to talk to you about that you said way back that when we did our mock drafts. Say you're worthy. You said
I know I was wrong. I was wrong. Listen. There have been times that I have been really, really wrong.
Worthy jersey in the
No, I might have, but there's been times I've been really wrong. I was wrong on Kevin Durant. I was 100% wrong when he came out of the draft. That was probably the worst thing I've ever said. I was 100% wrong on Worthy. Not only was I wrong on Worthy, the person I wanted them to take, I was 100% wrong on him too. So, like, I didn't think Worthy was going to do anything. I thought he'd be like a Mikalo Hardman, a speedster that didn't have route running, didn't work on his game or whatever. And I thought Keon Coleman at the Bills would be that more grit and grind receiver. I thought way more about that.
Go back to that in a second.
I was wrong.
Well, I don't want to block. I don't want to block.
Go ahead.
Your face. Go ahead. Stand up, Eric. Let's make it work.
Packers fans talk.
You suck.
Packers fans can't talk shit. I got you.
Yeah, life sucks for them. Anyways, all right. I want to really quick conversation. I think this highlights when you look at Andy Reid. Go just like you can just wiki this. It doesn't matter. You can go on ESPN. It doesn't matter. Andy Reid, with the success he had with the Eagles, almost won a Super Bowl, got to 5 conference championships. Then with the Chiefs, they were relevant with Alex Smith. He had them built up into a solid team. Then Mahomes comes in, and now he's at 3 Super Bowls, could be 4 in a second. That's 6 Super Bowl appearances and a ton of conference championships. I think if Andy Reid pulls this off, in my opinion, I still got Vince first. I'm biased, and I don't care. I'll be biased. I know it's in the 60s, but there's some good arguments for it. Vince for me is number 1. But the greatest coach of all time.
There's not a damn argument for it. Sorry.
You guys agree?
There's not an argument at all.
No. It's
Belichick. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with you putting him first because it's nostalgia. He was one of the first. I get it. But there is no number, no statistic. They were still playing without field lights at that time. Okay, there's no way you can convince me that he is the greatest coach of all time. But you're a Packers fan, so he's number one in your heart. So we're okay with that.
Number one for me, and
in your heart, and number one on the field.
Well, like
exactly.
Med's favorite player is Walter Payton. You're not going to talk him out of it.
No, my favorite player is actually Peyton Manning.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Well,
yeah.
But being favorite player and being best.
Who?
My favorite player is Mahomes, so we're good. And I hate Alex Smith, by the way.
Well, he was captain.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Okay,
he was also captain of I blow 20-point leads.
All right, so here's my question: is Andy Reid, if he wins this, is he the greatest coach of all time? Does he surpass Belichick?
No.
Because for me, he does, because he's done more outside of Mahomes than Belichick ever did without Brady.
I have
Belichick
a question.
Also went to 10 Super Bowls.
Okay, wait, I missed all of that.
If it was not for Mahomes, would we still agree with that?
Well, I would counter.
Nobody was calling Andy Reid.
We wouldn't think anything of Belichick. Reid would have
100%, but we don't know Belichick without Brady. We only know after Brady. We don't really know. We don't know Belichick without Brady.
But we know Reid.
But we do.
Mahomes.
Andy Reid without Mahomes was the guy that could get you there, but could not get you over the hump.
But that's so much better than Belichick. So that's why I'm like, and if he pulls off the three-peat, that's something Belichick never did. So for me, it's becoming a conversation if he pulls this off.
So the thing about that is I remember Belichick when he was the head coach for the Cleveland Browns, and he did okay, but he still had a losing record. He had a losing record after Brady left. But the fact of the matter is, in a 20-year span, he went to 10 Super Bowls. Regardless of who you have as your quarterback, who you have as your defense, or anything like that, you were a main reason why they got there. If Andy Reid did not have Mahomes, he would not have 3 Super Bowls under his leadership.
And he was the GM.
How many does he have to win?
Belichick was also the GM. Andy Reid's not.
Yeah.
Okay. How many more does Reid have to win? Does he have to get to 6?
Yeah. So this is what I would say. We could have a conversation and say he's up in that conversation, but it's always going to come to you did nothing without Mahomes. Was it that you're so great, or is it that you just got lucky and got the greatest quarterback to ever be in the history of the NFL?
See, my only problem.
The same question we had with Belichick after Tom Brady won the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
But we don't know. We know what Reid was without Mahomes. Mm-hmm. He was a very good coach that couldn't get you over the hump. Like, you went to 5 NFC championships and won 1.
It got blown out in most of the NFC.
Yeah, and we can't say you didn't have a quarterback. You had Donovan McNabb. And the only Super Bowl you went to, you had Terrell Owens on your team as well. So, I love Andy Reid. I think he is one of the best coaches in the history. And if I had to put him on my list, I would put him as my number 1 because I'm a homer. But if I'm going to take my fandom away from it, I cannot withstand 20 years of dominance. I know that this isn't how it should work, but what that means is for those 20 years, you had a 50% chance that he was going to be in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And if he made it to the Super Bowl, you had a 60% chance he was going to win. I don't know any coach you can say that with in a 20-year span.
Well, I mean, that's why I like Vince Lombardi. He won me 5 titles in 9 years.
Yeah, so 100%. Back when me and you were playing with on the opposite side of the football. Okay, so and maybe some of your students too. Maybe some of your students were playing too. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing. You can't get rid of his dominance. And you can't go 6 years, 7 years of being good with a great quarterback trumps your 10 years before that. And we're just going to forget that for 20 years, you basically were almost guaranteed to be in the Super Bowl. Like, just think about this. You would be so rich if every single year you went and put like $5,000 for the Patriots to make the Super Bowl. For 20 straight years, you would have made great money.
And not only that, you really think about, you're talking about the NFL back in the 1960s where there's probably 20 teams. And you're looking at the NFL nowadays where there's 32 teams. The level of competition is so much larger for a few different reasons. One, you had no salary cap. So basically, if you had great players, you could keep them for as long as you want. No free agency, which is same thing as the salary cap. So, I mean, you had Paul Holrun running the ball, the golden boy himself. You had Bart Starr. You had, I think, at one point, 9 or 10 Hall of Famers on those 5 teams.
It was a stacked
It was a stacked team, and no one else could go up against that.
It was ridiculous. They were, if honestly, if Vince had stayed, they may have pulled off another 1 or 2.
They probably could have, but it didn't happen. But what I'm saying is that you look at the fact that was back in the 60s, 20 teams, and you're looking at today's game where there's 32 teams, where they actually the whole point of the salary cap was to prevent what is going on right now and what the Patriots did. There's not supposed to be any more dynasties, but there are. It's because of the play of Mahomes and coaching of Andy Reid. I mean, personally,
and
Spagnuolo, but let me finish. Please quit interrupting. The one thing I will say is that when you look at Reid, he has a really good chance of breaking the all-time wins record by a head coach. He is not far behind. If he has the quarterback that can do it. If he wins 10 games a season for the next 7 years, he's got it. Even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, what would the all-time records for wins elevate his status? Would it put him right there on the same plateau as Belichick? If he wins another Super Bowl, maybe 2, it would probably push him over.
He's 55 points away. He's 55 points away.
I just want to know where is Don Shula at on your list?
As far as head coach?
Greatest coaches of all time. Where would you put him?
Not in the top 3.
I would say he's in my top 3.
Okay. So that my only question, and I'm not that's a very
thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, very good point. My first thought would be, in this scenario with the rings and the wins, that probably does put him over there, because he would have had, if he gets to 65 wins, 66 more wins, you got to figure he's going to have a good team for the next 4 to 5. He's going to have because he's not going to keep going around if he sucks. So then you could definitely have that. But I just don't. I think wins has more to do with longevity than being a great coach. That's kind of my thing. Like, yes, you could be a great coach, but like, where's Jeff Fisher on the all-time wins list?
He ain't. 13. If you want mediocrity, just get Jeff Fisher.
I'm just wondering, how far away is he on the all-time? I just want to know.
Jeff Fisher,
like, where is he on all-time wins?
He has 173 wins and 165 losses, if you can believe it. I've got the list.
I can believe it, because he was the king of mediocrity. Like,
the king of 8 and 8.
There, we're like right there.
Yeah, the king of 8 and 8. But he coached forever.
Yes, he did. I don't even know how he got jobs. That was the crazy thing about it, because he didn't win, he didn't lose.
He made a Super Bowl. Yeah.
He made it one Super Bowl, but he got that off of so he had a great defense. He had an amazing running back in Eddie George, and Steve McNair balled his ass off. That's how he got to the Super Bowl. And
they lost by 1 yard.
1 yard. Best damn tackle you ever seen in your life. 100%
in open field.
Open field, Mike Jones, baby. Who? Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
So, real quick. So just another thing about Don Shula. I mean, I have to look at it because you got me really thinking now. Is you look at what he was able to do with 2 franchises. He made Baltimore great with the Colts, and then he went to Miami and made them great. He has 3 Super Bowls to his credit, and then went to, I believe, 6. So
he won 2.
Okay, here we go. Marty Schottenheimer.
He was an NFL champion. Does that one count?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you talking about Don Shula? Yeah.
It's so weird the way it labels it. It says 68 that he won that one.
Yeah, he won the NFL one, but he lost to the Jets. And then he went 2 years later to play the Cowboys, and they won it. They won it the following year. So that's his first one. Then he won 2 with the Miami Dolphins. Dude.
Okay.
Stats.
Since we're talking about the all-time list, I just want to give you who the top 12 are.
So he lost the Jets one, then he won 2 Super Bowls, right?
He won 2 Super Bowls with Miami, and he won 1 for Baltimore.
Yeah.
They beat the Cowboys.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Don Shula, George Halas, Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, Tom Landry, Curly LeBeau, Marty Schottenheimer is 7th.
Marty Ball, baby.
Chuck Noll is 8th. Dan Reeves is 9th.
That's actually kind of surprising.
Chuck Knox is 10th. Mike Tomlin is 11th. Mike McCarthy is 12th, and Jeff Fisher is 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that sounds like a Trivial Pursuit question if you really think about it.
I would have never guessed Marty Schottenheimer was on this list. But when you think of longevity, that makes sense. He coached from 1984 to 2006 with only a couple years off.
Yeah. Yeah, he was with the Chiefs, especially when they had the Joe Montana and Marcus
Brown, Chiefs, Redskins at the time, Chargers.
I forgot he was with Brown. I remember the Chargers, and I remember because LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
And God, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just weird when the fact that Mike McCarthy's on here is even weirder. That he's in the top 13. I mean, he's above Bill Parcells and John Harbaugh and Sean Payton. And Pete Carroll.
How's your boy like Pete Carroll being the head coach of his team?
Oh, did he? That was the only person he did not want. He absolutely. I texted him when it got the signing, and I said, "Dude, are you okay? Do I need to call somebody? If my memory serves me correctly, I think you don't like Pete Carroll." The only message he got from me, he was like, "I have not responded at any chat because I don't know what to say. Right now, I'm going to shoot myself." I was like, okay, good. Yeah, he hated Pete Carroll with the Seahawks. He kept saying Pete Carroll, he's like, and the whole league's getting younger and we go 19 years older. Yeah, so he's not happy with him at all.
You know, the funny thing is about it is that the first thing people say whenever they say Pete Carroll is that he's a young 74. I was like, how in the hell are you a young 74? But, I mean, it's just, you're 74. You're older than Bill Belichick. Just real quick, some other comments just to stir the pot a little bit for you, Eric. Vince Lombardi is the best coach of all time. That's why the Super Bowl trophy is named after him. I'm not going to doubt you on that. I mean, I will say he's the legendary guy, and he deserves his name on there.
Just a question. Who's a Stanley Cup named after?
Lord Stanley.
Who was that? Was he the best coach or player of all time?
Nope. He was a guy that donated it.
So basically, what we're saying is names on trophies don't mean anything. That's what we're saying, okay? That's what we're saying. I'm just saying.
Andy Reid would be Doc Rivers right now if he didn't have Mahomes. It's very true.
That's not totally fair because Doc Rivers has 1 championship. Andy Reid would have had 0.
Well, Doc Rivers also had probably the best
Wait,
player.
hold on. No, that is disrespectful. We're not doing that. No. First of all, Doc Rivers can't coach. He is lucky he got 1 championship. Okay.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. You look at the team that he had. I mean, Kevin Garnett. He had 3 Hall of Famers, but a 4th,
and only got 1.
Yeah.
And then the Clippers, and then the Sixers, and now the Bucks. Yeah, we're not disrespecting Andy Reid like that. No, that's okay.
Of course, Jason has to bring it back to the Packers. Love Andy Reid. Remember, he was the Packers tight end coach back in the day. See,
thanks, Jason.
Yeah, Isaac is covering his face right now because he's like, dude, I'm not even going to homer like that.
No, but Doc Rivers only got that title because he had those 4 guys. Anybody
at the perfect time.
And Kendrick Perkins, who was probably low key, probably could have been defensive player of the year that year. I mean,
let's not forget that he's the reason why Tim Duncan did not sign in Orlando when it was Tim Duncan, Grant Hill,
because he wouldn't let them get on the dance. His family
with the plane. Yep, with their wives.
I still maintain if they'd had a better coach that they could have won a second title, but they lost Perkins in that second one against the Lakers, and they lost in 7 partly because Perkins wasn't healthy for Game 7. That's one of the reasons they lost. But I don't think that's quite fair on Andy Reid because we don't know what his career would have been had he not had Mahomes. But I hate the argument because Brady.
Yes, we do.
If Belichick hadn't had Brady, he would have been nothing.
We know. No, you're speculating. We know exactly what Reid's career would have been without Mahomes. We've seen it for like 13 years before Mahomes got there.
It was a damn
Alex Smith.
It was a pretty good career. It was way better than Belichick.
Yeah. It's way no, we don't know that. That's all I'm saying. That's the thing. You can't separate Belichick and Brady. Because it's like 3 years. It's like 3 years, 4 years.
I can separate him a little bit because I remember watching him when he was the Cleveland head coach, and I think they showed a record of what his record, like his head coaching record. He was 210 and like 79 with Brady, and then you look at what he had without Brady, and it was like 76, 93 or something like that. So I mean,
it's the Browns. It's first of all, it's the Browns
are decent.
Nobody does good for the Browns, okay? There is not a coach to this day that has a good 3-year career with the Browns. Maybe 1 year, but not 3. I don't know any coaches, and if somebody brings it up, we're probably going to 1940 with Otto Graham. But in my lifetime, I can't name of a Browns coach that had a good 3 years. So we just throw Browns out. Everybody that coaches for the Browns, we throw it out. Romeo Crennel, Bill Belichick. Who's coaching for him right now?
Kevin Stefanski.
We'll throw it. When he goes to his next team and does good, we'll forget about that one as well.
Yeah, I'd have to add up Belichick's record without. It's not very good. The 6 seasons before, there was 1 in New England. He was at 41 and 55, but in the years after with the Pats, he had 2 winning seasons without. Well, 1 in the middle.
We would have probably seen the same thing that happened in Houston.
No, we wouldn't have. No, we wouldn't have. We would not have seen that because Kansas City girls, they might like that shit, okay? I've been to Kansas City. If you've been to Kansas City, you know Kansas City, they're a little weird. They might have been okay with that. They might, and besides, there's not too many massage parlors in Kansas City, so they might have been okay with that, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's it. No, we would not be talking about. We would be talking about neither one of them. Mahomes is lucky to have a coach like Andy Reid that lets him do the things that he wants to do, the sidearm throws. It's a perfect fit. And if we had got Watson, am I saying that we would not have won a Super Bowl or something like that? Probably, because Watson was still in the first 4 or 5 years. He was still a decent player. It's just the Texans organization didn't know what they were doing. So there could have been a chance where we had a deep playoff run. But I mean, no, I think Mahomes benefits from Reid as much as Reid benefits from Mahomes.
Agreed.
Do I think Mahomes would have still been a good quarterback? Yeah. Could he have still won a Super Bowl? Yeah. But he wouldn't have been to 7 AFC championships.
No.
So I think we should make game picks because I'm not going to lie. I'm on like less than 4 hours sleep. I'm pretty tired.
Down.
And I got to get my tooth pulled tomorrow. So I'm going to go get me some rest. But let's make some game picks and let's see what happens. I'll go last on this one. So Eric and Med, y'all want to go first?
What you got, Eric?
I'm picking the fucking Chiefs. We know this. So I'm picking the Chiefs. Like, look, my heart wants to say a close game. It wants to say a close game. But I would say we win by, it's going to be close, but I would say we win by like 10 points. Jalen Hurts is going to do something stupid on with like 4 minutes left to go, very similar to Lamar Jackson and, Josh Allen. Somehow they're just not going to be prepared for a play that happens, and we're going to take advantage of it. So I'm going to say we win by 10. Close game, but we win by 10.
I'm going to say it's still the Chiefs, mainly simply because they've been there so many times before. Kelsey looks like he disappeared the last game, so that means that he's going to be amazing this game. And you look at all the veterans that they have, they are built to basically take a punch and then deliver it right back. And it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be 10 points. I think it's going to be a possession, maybe 7 points, maybe 8, somewhere in there. But I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. I understand a lot of people want to go with the Eagles and they don't want the three-peat to happen because they don't want people like Eric to sit there and then rubbing their nipples and saying, yeah, we're three-peating. But at the same time, it'd be kind of neat to actually see it happen. I don't have any beef with Mahomes or any of the Chiefs. I actually kind of enjoyed the ride in a little bit, but it is what it is. So I'm going with Chiefs.
I'll go Eagles. I do think that it's never happened, so I'm still going to hold firm. I haven't seen a three-peat in the Super Bowl era, so I think there's a lot of momentum for the Chiefs, but I do think the Eagles are a capable team, and I think if they just lean on Saquon, they could run this. They could easily ball control this away from Mahomes if they stick to their identity. I think the Chiefs are going to have to force the Eagles to not run for me to believe that they're going to lose this game. So I've never seen a three-peat happen, so I'm going to go Eagles by, I'll say, I think it'll be a one-score game, but I think the Eagles will run the ball out at the end. The Chiefs will get a field goal or a touchdown to close the gap. I'm going to go weird score because it's been weird recently. I'll go
22,
I'm going to go 30-20. I think of some 2-point conversions. 30-25. It's going to be some stupid score.
Oh, no. The refs aren't going to let that happen, Isaac. You got to go higher. The refs are not going to let the Chiefs lose by 5. I'm just letting you know, if that shit happens and we're down by 5 at the end of the game and the Eagles have a ball, we might just get a mysterious touchdown. They might just give us a touchdown for some stupid shit, okay? So I'm saying, the refs are not going to let it be that close to the Eagles.
They're like, hey, if you keep doing this shit, we're going to let you give them a touchdown.
Like, there might be 7 false starts in a row and nobody jumps. So I'm just saying that yeah, refs are on the side. But I respect your opinion.
Man, that's nice.
I've been holding to it. I got to see a three-peat happen. So, but sorry, guys. If you guys want to keep going, I'm
hey, real quick. I know Isaac wants to say this just because it'll be the last time he can say it this year. Who was the last team that had a three-peat? Watch him smile when he says this.
It's been a long time, but they did it twice too.
Who?
The Packers.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. 1929, 1930,
no.
1965,
Stop it. Wait, whoa. Are we adding stuff before the NFL? So I get to add my AFL championships too?
Go ahead.
But they're the only team to three-peat it? You could
go. No, there's never been a team to three-peat in NFL history.
Yeah.
No, there hasn't. No, that was not the NFL. That was something totally different.
It was called the National Football League.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. I get it, but I don't. The NFL doesn't even recognize them as three-peating. They literally say nobody in the history of the NFL have ever done that.
We won Super Bowls 1 and 2, and we won the one before that. So it's a little frustrating that they don't count.
Because it's not a Super Bowl
technicality. So those championships don't count.
No, because it wasn't the Super Bowl. Yeah. Because if you do that, then you have to let all the AFL teams take all their Super Bowls.
Well, that's the argument I had with Med earlier when he was saying facts. Hallis actually won 2 Super Bowls. He won 1 NFL championship, then lost to the Jets.
Yeah, but that's the issue.
He was all like stats. I was like, he only won 2 Super Bowls. Same argument.
Basically, he won more than one too. He beat the Cowboys. It was called the Super Bowl by then.
Yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, but that was the issue. So if it wasn't because it wasn't technically the Super Bowl, you had like 8 teams. That doesn't count. Like there wasn't even 2 divisions. There wasn't even 2 divisions. There was no teams in the whole entire league. They were literally They were coming from jobs and going to practice, and then they were turning their uniforms inside out, and you had their work T-shirts on.
That's like me going to play in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why people don't count it. I mean, I think the Houston Oilers.
Go look it up.
The Houston Oilers would love to have Super Bowls right now, and they have none. They have no championships. The Houston Oilers would love, or the Houston Texans would love to say that they had 2 championships, and they don't. They don't at all. So I'm just, they don't at all. The Buffalo Bills would love to say they had a championship.
I'm disagreeing because I love saying that I've won the most titles because it's true. Like the Pats say they've won the most Super Bowls. Good for them. So yeah, I'm gonna hold to it because I'm gonna keep claiming as long as I can because it's not gonna last forever. So I'm gonna enjoy it.
It's not. Hopefully, it doesn't last past this week. Wait, didn't
it twice? It's been a minute. I wasn't alive for them, but it counted. All right. Well, guys, I'm sorry. I'm like, this is the least sleep I've gotten in a long time, so I'm tapped. I will be doing a show Friday night, but I'm gonna
before you get off, you do know the Browns won 4, right?
What championship?
4 championships in a row in 1946, 47, 48, and 49. When it was called the AAFC. So I'm just letting. So I mean, if you want to go
to the NFL, like at least mine.
Whoa! I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you want to go there, you're going to give the Browns some hope. So I think we should just retract that statement because the last thing I want is Browns fans.
Before they won in the 50s and 60s, give them those.
Talking about they won 4 championships.
Baloney. Nah.
So, I mean, technically, the Browns have more championships than almost any other team. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 8 championships.
Yeah, but you know what sucks for them is they haven't even snipped a Super Bowl and they haven't even been relevant since then. So that's really unfortunate for them because it's been like, only the Lions.
Wait, they have the drive and the fumble.
Exactly. They lost 2.
I know you might. The drive and the fumble. Back-to-back years. Yeah.
40 years now since they've sniffed a Super Bowl.
Wait. That's the type of stuff we need talked about the Browns. We don't need to make them feel good. Go back to your shit.
No, I mean seriously, you know Brown is your best player ever, and you haven't had anything close since. And the Joe Flacco run recently was one of their best stories of this century. That's kind of sad.
And now your best player on your team for the past 5 years wants to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'll take them. Let's get them. There's a lot. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but
somehow they still have Deshaun Watson. So I mean, if it gets any worse, they still have Deshaun Watson.
Good luck with Deshaun Watson. Ned's got some theories on that, but no, man, this was a blast. Eric, let's do it. If you're free next week, we normally go on Monday nights. I had to go do something last night, so if they win, we'll hop on Monday. It confirms the theory. We bounce Monday and Tuesdays. I feel bad. I had something last night.
And Eric, how about this? If they win, we'll come on your show.
So I'm down with that.
Yeah, we'll come on.
I'm completely down with that.
Speaking of segue to your show, like I said, if you guys want to keep going without me, I'm game. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I'm exhausted.
I gotta get food, and I still got to do work. I put off like.
No, I know that's my problem. Is I've still got some paperwork I gotta do.
100%.
No, I've got like 20 minutes. They dumped on me today, so I gotta go do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Justin Tucker, right? Segueing to your show, Eric. When is your show, and where can people find you?
It is Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, West Coast time. We will be on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and the show is the Vegas Benchwarmers. So it's a Benchwarmer podcast. Our channel is the Vegas Benchwarmers. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I always have a good time with you guys.
Yeah, man, that's fun.
I will tell y'all this, folks. For all 314 people that are watching us right now, that is a great show. I do advise checking it out. I've worked with Eric more than a couple times. In fact, probably 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
They know it's a really good show. Just watch it. Maybe not around the kids, but watch it.
Not around the kids.
No, don't watch it around the kids.
It's not G-rated. It is for adults. Only adults.
Yeah. So
that's why I didn't put this on my Facebook.
Yeah. I tried as much as I could not to cuss Izac.
Hey, you did good. I
tried as much as I could. I know I slipped some words out there, but I was like, this is Izac. Can't cuss, Eric. Can't cuss. Can't cuss.
No, so Izac has been backing off on that because he's been learning his lesson with me.
Okay.
Med's like, I'm gonna drop. No, he doesn't just say curse words. He makes these analogies, and I'm like, if my students watch, thank you. I swear, he's like, Izac, I just want you to get fired and become a podcast. He just wants to get fired. I got asked by a family member today. She's like, when do you just start making money on this? I was like, yeah, that's a great question.
I know. When they ask me that, they're like, oh, so you make money? I'm like, next question.
I'm like, I made $5 this month. Yeah.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. Next question.
Yeah, they'll go up to Isaac and be like, Mr. Valente, what is an Alaskan pipeline?
Med, where can people find shots from the sideline?
And you can find me every Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. So that is 3:15 Pacific. But I'm actually working on something right now. I'm going to be releasing a mock draft and actually doing a whole video. So with clips. So you'll actually see people playing when I'm talking about them. Like, look at this guy throw the ball.
Yep. There we go. And you can see me probably this Friday. No, definitely this Friday. What am I talking about? Jones is joining me. Jones and from Sports is joining me on Friday nights. The wife hopped on last week. She said if they win, she'll come back on. We had fun. We're going to talk some NBA and preview the Super Bowl this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. But Eric, this was a pleasure. Med, always fun, man.
Always fun. Thank you guys very much. You guys have a good night.
And Eric, if something happens that me and you both did not look at in regards to the Super Bowl, I will send someone over to your house for a wellness check.
And
That's fine.
We're gonna hit you up about the mock draft in April too. Like that's 2 months away. So even if they lose, you should be okay by then, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be okay by April. Yeah, because by then I would have already had. I would have had like 3 weeks of Jeremy talking shit to me and just sending me like the Simpsons meme. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. So
all you have to say is he's got Pete Carroll, and they'll just flush his state down.
Exactly. Thank you guys. It's a pleasure as always. Have a wonderful night.
See you, man.